Hello dear students. Today we are going to start our next topic in the crop production and management chapter. But before going on the crop production and management's next topic in this lecture, I am welcoming you on behalf of Vdvs Vidya Sankul's e-learning class of lecture number 3 of standard 8 science. Okay, so going on the next topic, before going on the next topic, let us take a brief preview on what we have studied earlier in this chapter. Now we are going to look into that what we have completed in this chapter. So far we have completed the many of the points regarding the agricultural practices, in which now we have coming on to the point number 5, that will be the irrigation system. Okay, we are going to start that topic in this lecture, but before starting that topic, I am going to give you a fast recap of this chapter. Okay, let us begin the recap of this chapter with the topics like, first we have seen what is the crop. So as we have seen that generally same kind of plant or same kind of thing can be grown on a large scale, that can be known as a crops. Afterwards we have seen the types of crops, in which we have completed and which we have seen the types of crops, that generally are the 3 types of crops are available, that will be Rabi crop, Kharif crop and Zaid crops. So we have categorized each and individual crops into basis on the on basis of the seasons. Okay, generally whenever the season changes, the crops plantation will be changed based on that. So we can consider that the how the changes of the season will be dependent, and how the changes of the plant will be dependent on the changes of the season. So on that we have considered the changing of the season and the changing of the plants, different kinds of different plants. Okay. Afterwards we have started the agricultural practice, in which we have finished the preparation of soil, in which we have seen the 2 kinds of process will be occurred in the preparation of soil. So how to prepare the soil to make sure to ensure the plantation of the plant. Okay, to ensure the plantation of the crops into that field. How can we ensure that? So for that we have started that the preparation of soil by doing 2 kinds of processes, that will be, one is called as generally a loosening, and second one is called as a tilling process. Okay, we have seen the loosening process, second one is the straightening. Okay, or another one is called as a loosening. So loosening we have seen about that the whenever the nutritions cannot reach the plant or cannot reach the crops that we have planted in the field, or that we have planted in the soil. First of all, we have planted the seeds for the plantation of crop, or we have to grow the crops. That's why we have put the seed into it. Okay. Afterwards, what we have seen, that the generally nutrition cannot reach the seeds. Okay, exactly where they want to reach, they cannot sufficiently reach. So for that we need to loosen the soil. Okay, so for that we have done the process of loosening the soil. Okay, so that's why the nutrition or minerals of the soil can reach into the seeds easily, and the roots can grow. One of the crops that you are growing is going into the soil very well easily. Okay, and down deep inside going also. Afterwards we have seen the tilling process, that will be considered as the ground level will be doing a straight. Okay, if a ground level is not same or the not balanced at each and every level, so some of the plants gets more nutrition and some of the plant gets less nutrition. Okay, so we have done these 2 processes in the preparation of soil. Then we have seen the sowing process, in which we have seen the sowing process, in which we have done sowing process is like we have done broadcasting. So sowing means what? We have to put the seeds into the soil. So how can we put the seeds into the soil? So therefore we need 2 kinds of processes. One is manually and second one is doing an artificially. So manually we can do it by ourselves. Okay, by ourselves we have to do the plantation of the seeds. So we can throw the seeds into the soil, that can be considered as the broadcasting. And another process is we are using the equipment called the seed drill for it. Then can we consider the process is known as a doing by the seed drills process. Okay. Afterwards we have seen afterwards we have seen it is a recap that we have already finished in the earlier chapters. Okay. Another one is coming the next topic, that will applying the manure and fertilizer. Okay, here the fertilizer word will be missing, so you can consider here is the fertilizer word. Okay, applying manure and fertilizer means what? Now we have seen that the manure and fertilizer is more necessary to do the process. Why it is so important, so necessary for doing the process? Because of generally soil after so many growing of the crops, the soil gets less nutrition or gets decreasing in the less minerals, in decreasing in the less nutrition, without having any kind of nutrition or any kind of minerals in itself. How can it gives the soil, how can it gives the nutrition or minerals to the crops that are planted here? Okay. So for that the soil needs a much more nutrition and much more minerals for it. Okay, for that we need to increase or we need to boost up the nutritions or the minerals level into the ground or into the soil. So how can we improve that? So for that we need the manure and the fertilizer. If we are using an organic components to making to increasing the level of the soil, increasing the nutrition level of the soil, if we are using an organic components, okay, generally if we are using a decomposed components from the nature, that can be considered as the manure. And if we are using a chemical component or artificial component to increase the nutrition or minerals level of the soil, that can be considered in a fertilizer. Generally contain organic matter is large in quantities, they are not at all present in the artificial making, because here are the only chemicals are mixing up and then the fertilizer will be made up of. Okay, both the thing doing a same kind of work, but for making them the process will be different. Its function will be same. Manure is doing the increase, manure is also increasing the minerals and nutrition level into the soil. Fertilizer is also increase the level of nutrition and minerals level in the soil. The functions will be same, but to make them the process will be different from the each other. This is generally made up from the organic components and this is generally made up from the fertilizer chemical process. Okay, so we have seen the whole of the points in the earlier lectures. Okay, these are the manures by the organic components, they are made up of it and we can shift it like that. Okay, from wherever the field. Okay, and these are the fertilizer. If you have ever seen in your farms or if you have any relatives that doing that process, then it is doing the increasing the level of fertility of the soil by adding the fertilizer into the soil. Afterwards, this process is started in today's. This process should be started in this lecture. That will be the irrigation process. Going on the first point, we have discussed the first point in the earlier lecture, but still we are discussing that process of supplying water to the crops, as we have discussed in the earlier lecture, that the crops need 2 or 3 things for to growing themselves. First one is the nutrition. So we have put the nutrition into the soil by adding the manure and fertilizer into the soil. Another point that the soil wants is the water. If water does not come, how the crops or the plants can grow up into the field? Okay, because it is necessary part of the growing of the plants or the growing of the crops. So for that we need to apply a water. And the third and the most important point for the growing of the crop, that will be sunlight. If the sunlight cannot absorb on the plants or the crops, then also the photosynthesis process will be not done there. And if the photosynthesis process will be not done there, then what happened? Then this kind of phenomena will be happen that the plant cannot grow sufficiently or efficiently, or they get wasted, or they cannot produce its own food. So what they have, so now they have loosened themselves. Okay. So in a second point, nutrition can how can we get this? That's we seen in the earlier point. By applying manure and fertilizer, we can increase the nutrition level and the manure level into the soil. But for the water, what should we do? Then we used a 2 or the 3 kinds of methods in it. Okay, water provide essential macronutrients to crop: hydrogen and oxygen. Generally, water's molecular. What is the molecular formula for water? If you have ever seen, or whenever we starting the chemistry in the 9th standard, or if you have ever heard in a 7th standard, that what is the molecular formula for water? That will be H2O. It is also called as the dihydrogen monoxide. Okay, what it is called? It is called as the dihydrogen monoxide. So this is the chemical formula for water, and what it defines is that it contains the 2 atoms of the hydrogen and 1 atom or the 1 molecule of the oxygen. It contains the 2 atoms or 2 molecules of hydrogen in it, and also it consists the 1 atom or molecule of oxygen in itself. Okay, so that makes us the H2O, and that makes us the water's 1 molecule. So in the molecular formula, we have seen the 2 molecules present in that one is a H means hydrogen, and another is a oxygen. So generally what it provides to the crops, it provides the necessary macronutrition that will be more necessary and more sufficient to take place of the crops production. So if they are not present and they are not rich in the soil, so we have to give them. So that's why production of the crop will be going very easily and very smoothly. Otherwise the crop gets wasted. Okay. So for that we need to provide hydrogen and oxygen's micronutrition into the crops, and by the water we can provide this macronutrition into this. Okay. So this is, we can see that if we not doing a irrigation process, then the considerably we can say that the crop production cannot take place at all. Okay. So all living beings need water to live. Okay, water is important for proper growth and the development. Water is absorbed by the plant roots along with the water. Minerals and fertilizer are also absorbed. Plant contain nearly 90% water. As you can see, the plant has the 90% of water in itself. These types of question will be asked in 1 marks, that in a crop production, how many percentage of the water contains by the crops or by contained by the plant. These types of questions sometimes will be asked in 1 marks examination. So if you have the options like A, B, C, D, in which you have asked that A is 90%, B is 80%, C is 70%, and D is a 60%. Then you can write that the 90% water is containing, and it will be sufficient to the plants. Okay, and it has 80. Okay, water is essential because the germination of seeds does not take place. Now under dry condition, nutrition dissolved in water are transported to each part of the plant. Otherwise what happened, I have already told you that if the germination means what, the germination means the growth of the plant. Okay, so whenever the water cannot reach there, the growth of the plant cannot take a place at all. So for that it needs a more necessarily condition. So it defines as in a dry condition, plants growth rate will be decreased. Okay, the supply of the water to crops at a regular interval is called the irrigation. This is the important definition, you have to write this. Here I am writing that this is the definition regarding the irrigation. Okay, this is the most important definition. Here I am underlining that, so you can write it from here. Okay, also we are going to do the homework regarding that. This is the most important definition because it is asked sometimes in the examination of 1 mark question. Okay, that write the define regarding the irrigation. Sometimes the question will be asked that explain the irrigation's method, that we are now going to see what are the irrigation's method. Okay, different kinds of irrigation method. Okay, I hope you all have paused the screen and take the screenshot of it. Okay, otherwise if you cannot get the screenshot of it, then tell me, I am here to sending you. Okay, I will send you the photograph regarding the slides. Okay, so don't worry about that. If you cannot take the photograph or if you cannot see the screen, then I am saying each and every word here or the explanation, so don't worry about that. Okay, now going on the next topic, and that will be types of irrigation. Okay, now we have seen the types of irrigation based on soil and based on the crop. Okay, so generally soil based irrigations will be taken place on the basis of the soil. Of different types of soils are present, then the different types of crop production or different types of irrigation system will be applied there. Different types of irrigation system will be applied there. So in a different way of the we can provide the water into that. And the crop production is also crop based irrigation system is also there, in which the crop those crop who needed which needed the more water, we have to provide them a more water, and those crops who didn't needed much more water, then we can provide them a less water into them. Okay, now it is the methods of irrigation, in which there are traditional methods and which are a modern method. We have to see it here. Okay, I am writing that the 2 kinds of irrigation methods are available. First one is known as a traditional method, and another one is known as a modern method. So we have seen that traditional methods are here. So by using the traditional method, we have to take the water, and after taking the water, we have to supply where? We have to supply it on a field, okay, where we are growing the crops. Okay, what we have to do? We have to supply the water into the crops that we are going into the wherever we are growing into the field. Okay, so whatever the methods we are using, but in earlier times or in earlier days we are using the traditional methods. Now in a days we are using the modern methods. Okay, now first one is the moat, second one is the chain pump, third one is the Dekli, and fourth is the Rahat, or it will be called as the level system. Now we are going to see about the each and individual processes of photographs. For that you can understand that what processes will be occurred and what of the system that will be called as the as the traditional methods. Okay, now let us look at the first photograph regarding that. Here you can see that the moat system. Okay, here it is the moat system, it is a chain pump. Okay, it is both the same, these are called as the chain pump. So moat system defines as that what we have to do, that we have to put the jar or the matkas, as we know that. Okay, we have to put it into the water, and then we have to take out the water from the whatever the moat that is present here. Okay, then we have to take or to by pulling the water out from the ground level, and then what we have to do, then we have to do a manually doing a water circulation into the crops or into the field that we are growing. Okay, so like that we are doing a process. Another is here chain pump, in which we are using the chain pump to absorb the water from the ground, and after absorbing the water from the ground, what we have to do, then we have to fill up the bucket that we have already with ourselves, and then we go to the field, and then we have to put out the water into there. Okay, then we have to release the water into the field that we are growing the crops. This is the Rahat system, and this is Dekli. Okay, this is the Dekli system that is most popular in the earlier days. Okay, and also the Rahat system is most popular in the earlier days. Have you ever seen in the your village or in a particular area like these methods? Okay, if you have seen these types of method in your farms or in your village, then you can send the photographs of it in our group. Okay, so that we can say that these are the system that you have seen in your farms or in your villages. Okay, so this will be the most important information regarding that. In all the methods, what we have to do, that we have to pump out the water from the ground level, and we have to circulate into the system. That whatever the methods we are using, it is called as the Rahat or Dekli or the Mot, whichever the equipments we are using. Basis on that we can differentiate this system. Okay. So here is the Dekli system, in which we have seen, which we are seeing like that. What we are using, the wood or some kind of iron rod for that, and then the water gets pulled out from the from here. Okay, so water get absorbed from there, and then we have to take out the water, and then we have to fill up the bucket and go to our field, and then we have to circulate this water. Now we are going to see about the modern method, but I am going to give you 2 seconds of time to get the photographs of the Rahat and the Dekli system. Okay, if you want to take a screenshot of that, pause the screen and take the screenshot of it. Okay. Okay, I hope you all have taken the screenshot for it. Going on a next method, that will be modern methods, in which we are going to see about the 2 methods, that will be the drip irrigation method, and another one is a sprinkler method. Now what is the drip irrigation method and what is the sprinkler system? That both we are going to see in the next slide. First we are going to see about the sprinkler system. Okay, so what is the sprinkler system? Sprinkler means we have to sprinkle the water into the field that we are growing crops. Okay, into the crops that we are growing in the fields. Okay, we are growing the crops into the field, not filled into the crop. So you have to learn that, and you also have to understand that. Okay, this system is more useful on the uneven land where sufficient water is not available. In that we have seen that sometimes what happens, that in wherever the farms or wherever the village is, where we are growing the crops, okay, that the land cannot get the enough water there. Okay, sometimes the soil is need to be a clay soil. So if the clay soil is present, then what happens? Then we can say that water is sufficient there, and now we have to just circulate a minor portion of water there. But what happens in this system, that wherever the land cannot get the enough water by itself, okay, so now what we have to do, in each and every particular part we need to spread the water. Okay, and how can we spread the water? For that we are using the perpendicular pipes having a rotating nozzles on the top, like that. Here in the photographs, as you can see here, okay, you can see here that these are the rotating pipes, in which minor of the holes that is present, and which spread the water into the field. These are the pipes that are continuously moving like that. Okay, have you ever seen in your village, or have you ever seen the farms in your farm? Then you can send the photographs, or then you can send the video for it. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, so this pipes has the enough water. So where the pipe gets its water, so we have put the nozzle underground into that. Okay, we have done the nozzle underground on that, and that we have to circulate the water from wherever the water is present. Now water is coming onto that pipe, and these pipes holes get rotating, and holes get release the water. So what it happens, the flow of the water gets much more higher. Have you ever seen the fountains? In fountains, have you seen the water gets much more spreading? Okay, so this kind of phenomena is happened. The pipe is rotating, and it also circulate the water into the whole the field. Okay, and joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals when water is allowed to flow the main pipe. So where is the main pipe present? Main pipe is generally present underground these pipes. Okay, underground this ground. Okay. These three rotating pipes are joined with the main pipeline like that. Okay, here I am drawing a simple basic drawing. The main pipe is like that. It coming from the water. Here it is, the water source is available. Whatever the water source is available, it is sometimes the water source will be a river, sometimes it will be lake, sometimes another sources will be available. We are just here looking for the two sources available. So here the water is circulated. Now you have now the question will be coming in your brain that how the water came here. So here sometimes the motor will be fixed. Okay, sometimes what fixed here, the motor is fixed. This motor will absorb the water from the river, and then it transport to the main pipe. This is the main pipe. Now wherever in the ground we have put the three smaller pipes joining that. Okay, like that. These are the three. I am drawing a basic two-dimensional diagram, and these are the pipes that consist the spreading system or the holes, and this is also a rotating from the points. Okay, so now what happened, when water comes, this water will be get released by into the smaller pipes, and the smaller pipes are rotating. So what happened, the water gets spread, and these types of phenomena, as you look it in here picture, okay, these types of phenomena will be occurred. Okay, and this types of sprinkler system is also because we are using the some types of sprinkle into that. Sprinkle means spreading. When water is allowed to flow through the main pipe under the pressure with the help of a pump, it escapes from the rotating nozzles. It gets sprinkled on the crops if it is raining. And sprinkler is very useful for lawns, coffee plantation, and several other crops. So like the minor of the plants like coffee plants, like lawns, we can use this system, and this will get the water distributed to the each and every plants are present there. Okay, going on a next system that will be known as the drip system. So what is a drip system? Generally we can say that in this system we have to put the nozzle into the each and every plant that we have grown into the field. Okay, like that. And here we have done the holes into the nozzle. Now wherever we are circulating the water, now each and individual plant get the water. In earlier method what happened, the water get distributed in whole over the field. It does not give a water to the proper plant, but where we using the drip system, it will give a droplets to each and individual plants of particular destination. Look, here we have to see about, in this system the water falls drop by drop directly near the roots. It is not the spreading of the water, it gives the drop by drop water to the roots. So it is called the drip system because it is giving a drop to the crops. That is why it is called as a drip system. It is the best technique for watering fruit plants, gardens and trees as you shown in the figure. Water is not wasted at all because, why water is not wasted at all? Because wherever the root is present, the hole is present, and the hole is present, it gives us the water. It gives the water there, not anywhere else. Okay. It is boon in region where availability of water is poor. Boon, it means it is kindly we can say that it is a like आशीर्वाद. लोग like क्या हो गया ये कि ये हो गया इन लोगों के लिए बहुत बड़ा जो है चमत्कार हो गया. Okay, it is like a boon to the region where the availability of water is poor. wherever the village or whatever the village or whenever the land or wherever the farms are present, those who cannot get enough water or those who doesn't contain enough water in that places, this method will be very, very useful there. Okay, so today in the lecture we have seen the two kinds of water by giving a water irrigation system. Okay, we have seen the modern techniques and we have seen the traditional techniques regarding that. Okay, now we are going to see the last agricultural practice, that will be the removal of weeds. Now what is the removal of weeds? That will be generally considered as the whenever we are growing the plants or whenever we are growing the crops, it will also growing the unwanted plant by its surrounding. If you have ever heard, I don't know if you have heard or not, that one unwanted plant or a one wasted plant or one not necessary plant get destroyed all other plants. ओके, एक सड़ा हुआ प्लांट जो होता है वो सारे क्रॉप के फील्ड को और सड़ा हुआ और ख़राब करता है. ओके, तो हमको क्या करना पड़ेगा? व्हाट शुड वी हैव टू डू? वी हैव टू डू द removal of these unwanted plant that is surrounded by our main plant. We have to remove them, otherwise it will also damage our original plant. So we have to remove that, and the removing of the unwanted plant, okay, from our main plants surrounding, that will be process is called as the removal of weeds, or also it will be called as the weeding process. Okay, it is not a wedding. Okay, it is a weeding process. Do not confuse with them. Wedding means doing a marriage ceremony will be called as a wedding. This will be weeding. Weeding means removal of weeds. Weeds means unwanted plants. So undesirable plant with the main crop compete with the main crop for water, nutrition, space, light. Because what happened, undesirable plants are the main thing that can take the nutrition from the where we want to supply nutrition to the original crop, but what happened, unwanted plants take that. We have to supply water to the original crop, but the undesirable plants taking water from that. So now original crops cannot grow very easily. But what happened then, the undesirable plants are taking so much nutrition, so much water from it, and that is why it is growing much more faster. Okay, so removable of weeds can be doing by the process will be called as the weeding process. If you want to take a notes regarding the weeding process, here are the some methods regarding the weeding. If you want to take a screenshot for it, I am giving 2 seconds of time for that. Okay, I hope you have taken the notes regarding the weeding. These are the biological methods, chemical methods to removing of the weeds. Whatever the methods we are using, we can use it to remove the weeds. Okay, sometimes different kinds of methods will be using to take a place for the weeding process. Okay. In the last lecture, we are going to see about the harvesting, in which we are going to see about the harvesting. Okay, let us see that topic in also this lecture. Okay, so we can finish this chapter in this lecture. Now, what is the harvesting? Cutting of the crops after its maturation. Okay, it means wherever the, okay, let us take us from here. Okay, this topic will be, we will see in the next lecture, because in next lecture we have to also see about the animal husbandry. Otherwise, what happened, this topic, it is the last topic that will be pending in your last lecture. So in last lecture we have to see about the two process. One is the harvesting and another is the animal husbandry. We will see in the next lecture. Okay, in this chapter you have to do the homework. I am giving you the homework. Now write everyone today's homework. So much homework today. Question number 1 you should write. Types of method for irrigation. Question number 2. Now you have to explain both the types of method in this question. Okay, you have to write there are the two types of method, okay, in which you have to write traditional method and also write the modern method. Okay, you only have to write the names of the method in that topic. Afterwards explain modern method. Okay, explain drip irrigation system. In which you have to explain whole question in the drip irrigation system, in which we have seen in this lecture. Okay, if you want to take a notes from here, then you can rewind the lecture and then pause button, use the pause button and take a screenshot from that. And question number 3, now you have to write explain weeding process. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for reading this lecture. If you had any kind of doubt, you can ask me on the personally on my WhatsApp, because comment section is not available there. So for that, we will finish here. Okay, till then, bye bye everyone. We will meet in the next lecture. Till then, bye bye everyone, and take care of yourself. Stay safe, stay healthy at your home. Okay, bye bye.